using repository. Okay, not copying to a floppy, not floppy disk, but that's my way of archiving. So I'm still talking about that, but I'm not copying onto a USB stick and carrying that around. Okay, that's not your way of safekeeping. Your GitHub should be your home destination for safekeeping all your code. Right? Version control is so important. At this moment, I mean, we have plenty of storage spaces for everybody. I mean, you should not throw away any code you have written, to my mind. Okay? Deleting your own code file is insane. I mean, how much space can you save by deleting your code file, okay? I mean, one single image you take randomly will basically means several years worth of coding you had, right? So what's the purpose of deleting your code file? I mean, you never know whether a piece of code you have written actually will be helpful in the future, okay? I mean, so just check it into a repository and keep it there, and it's free, and you can always come back to it. If you're not coming back to it, I mean, trust me, it's not going to take much of your storage space, okay? Always use repository and version control. So coming back, we'll have an integrated development environment, IDE, for Java. You'll pick. You are going to use GitHub to store your code. And so that those are things you definitely need to have. And also hopefully you can start using some kind of testing tool toward end of the term, right? For instance, JUnit would be a great choice for Java. So that's starting doing unit testing will be so important. Okay. Once you transition into a more team environment, you'll have other tools that, for instance, Slack for team communication and Trello for project management, but that will come later. That's not in our project, okay? That will be more in your capstone and in your CS454 classes, okay? So more for team communication and scaling up to bigger project. At this moment, you're basically using IDE to code. Use GitHub to keep your code, and using a unit level testing tool, which is JUnit, to test your own code. Okay? If you finish this, you are qualified for any internship in town. Okay? You should be qualified for any internship in town. I mean, we have so many small companies around here. You should be better than average already. Okay? If you know all these three tricks. Programming in Java with IDE, tracking to GitHub, running JUnit for tests. Guess what? You are better than half of the programmer running on the street here. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This is I mean, programming is easy if you like them, if you do it, and that kind of thing. If you, but you have to use tools. Tools are life-saving. Okay, if you don't keep your code, you know the consequence. Okay, and the day before that deadline, you actually all the code disappeared. Okay, if it's in GitHub, hopefully GitHub will not go down, right? That almost never happened. Yeah, hopefully it's not messed up by Microsoft too much, so we lost it. But right now, so far so good. Okay, all right. Well, just adjust the schedule as we go, but it should be by and large follow this rough schedule. Academic integrity. It's not easy to flunk my class. Okay, you have to work really hard to get a C and below in my class, because I demand so much. Checkpoint work. So basically, all the checkpoint will drag you into a C if you finish something by the deadline every time, right? It's so hard to flunk my class in that sense. You have to work to get an A. That is guaranteed, right? To get an A, you have to work for it, right? Basically, to get a C, you just need to hit all the milestones. Okay, hit the milestone with your best effort. I think you're safely in the C category. To get anything below that, you have to really work hard for it, right? What I'm saying is, there's no reason to cheat at all. Okay, no reason. Because if you cheat in anything, if you got caught, I have to report you, or you got reported by somebody else, or you self-reported. Well, there are a lot of times actually you self-reported because you submit somebody else's code and you got caught. So that's very bad, right? So I don't want to be in that situation, because in that situation you're guaranteed to fail. Okay, you're guaranteed to fail the class. There's no benefit for that. I mean, if you score from C to C plus by copying somebody else's code, that doesn't do you any good. Okay. The matter of fact, in our field, it's kind of hard to cheat eventually, because when your manager wants you to program and you cannot deliver that. I don't know. Maybe you can hire somebody else to program for you, but hey, who will make that money, right? You are there to make that money to support yourself and family, and you have to hire somebody else to do the job for you. Remember, at that time, your friends back in school are not going to help you with code anymore. Okay, so you would have to code and you have to do work. So I would say, learn how to code and learn how to do work. Even if you're not the best, it's okay, but if you learn this, eventually you will get better. Cheating, that's what I don't actually see any value in that, because you are essentially, so this is your life skill and your job skill you're trying to get, and then you want to say, okay, I want somebody else to do this for me. Yeah, just imagine, if you have somebody else do your homework now, yeah, fine, do your project now, fine, yeah. When you get out, when you get to, if you work for a company out there, can you actually bring your friend in, sit with you and code with you and everything? Bring your work home and ask your friend to code for you? There's no way. There's just no way. That means somebody got to do the job, and probably that's going to be you if you want to keep the money. Okay, so I don't see any value in terms of cheating on this. So it should be fairly easy. As I said, it's really hard to flunk my class. You have to try it, right? Because we have all the deadline checkpoints. If you finish them all, think about it. If you finish all the quiz, if you get them all wrong, you got 5 points already. Okay, I'm not encouraging you to get it wrong. You should get it right. So then, if you do your homework with somebody else and learn the concept, 20 points. Okay, you already have 20 points in your pocket. So if you earn the other half point in the project and in the exam, you're C. You're 60 points and you're in the C category, no problem. There's really no reason. And also, that's not the key thing. The key thing is you need that skill to actually go do work. This is like when you don't even know how to use a wrench and you got a mechanic job. Do you think that Honda dealership will keep you? Right? It's the same thing here. Okay, any questions regarding our syllabus? All right, the work is very straightforward. We're going to write a small program every day in class. One day you'll be up there writing your program. Okay, we'll have a random selection who will get up there. Each one of you get one chance. Only one chance. All right. So why are we doing this? Because if you go to a programming interview, this is likely going to be what happens. They will ask you to write the code on a whiteboard. You may say, what's that good about it? It doesn't compile and everything. Hey, I would like to ask you your question. Why people ask you to write code on whiteboard? Why that's difficult? Why that's useful information for the people who are conducting the interview? Go ahead. Yeah, so essentially you have to, on the spot, with all the spotlight on you, with the pressure, you try to solve that problem. That's actually give the best reflection of who you are in terms of programmer. And also, by writing on the whiteboard, they will be able to see how likely you are going to make a mistake. One joke I always say is we got paid for cracking our own bugs, which is true, right? But bugs are really expensive. I mean, to company, bugs are really, really, really expensive. So if they can hire a software engineer who are less inclined to create a bug, they would definitely prefer that person. And whiteboard testing is a very useful way to spot people's tendency to make a mistake. Okay? So then to pass such a test, you need the exercise. Actually, writing on the whiteboard is very different than writing into IDE. IDE is self-correcting. IDE is making all the suggestions. IDE is correcting all your semantics and the syntax. Not going to happen on the whiteboard. That is not a smart whiteboard. Okay? So each one of you will have the chance to go up there, starting next class, randomly picked, selected as the winner of that day. Okay? The rest of you is going to code into D2L. It's going to appear in D2L. At the beginning, I'm okay if you write into the dialog box in the D2L. But gradually, I want you to transition into your IDE and submit your code in D2L. So at the beginning, it's okay to write a piece of code that doesn't even compile. But gradually, I want you to write a piece of code that compile and can work and post that into D2L. Okay? And one single person will get the training with respect to whiteboard programming. Okay? That will be our quiz. So that should be pretty straightforward. Any questions? Our class is by no means very light, but it's not that heavy either. But just that we have deadline checkpoint you have to run through to keep up that schedule. Why are we doing this? Because that's how you work in the industry. They will have deadline, they will track your deadline, they have to finish again the deadline, and so forth. Okay? It's not going to be open-ended. They want you to finish the work at a certain time. All right? So we are going to enforce that schedule too. In my CS 454 and 554 classes, we do 8-week classes, 8-week project as well, just like ours. But that's going to be a 3 or 4 person team project. They work on a 2-week sprint. And each one of them will be the project manager for one sprint. Okay, so at least you will be the project manager, and you will be the programmer, you will be the validation engineer, you will be the release engineer, and you rotate through the 4 different roles. Okay, there, you have a 2-week schedule, rigid 2-week schedule, which is actually the typical schedule for industry projects. Okay, every sprint, 2 weeks, you churn on product release. Okay, so that's why starting now, we would like you to be able to follow schedule, produce things by schedule. Okay, you may not have the best product, but you have to come up with a product by the deadline. Okay, that's the focus of our schedule. Make sure that you know the schedule and you plan the work according to a schedule. You can deliver a product. May not be the best you can do. You may say, oh, if you give me 2 more years, I will be the best. I'll give you a best specification. Yeah, you could do that, but what's the value of that for your team, right? So everybody already move on in 2 months, not even say 2 years, right? So you have to do things by schedule. All right? Okay, so that will be our syllabus. I mean, I hope everything is relatively clear for you guys. So we have a clear, so essentially, we want you to be able to program 1,000 to 2,000 line of code comfortably by the end of the term. Then you can go into your summer internship with no fear, really, because you can actually use IDE to code. So it's GitHub to keep your code, and to use JUnit to test your code. Or test your code, you'll see test your code is so important. Actually, I would say probably more important than your coding style, coding capability. Okay, because if you don't unit test your code, all the bugs will come to your code. All the bugs will come to your code. So you don't want to be the guy under the gun when the product cannot ship, because you have lots of bugs in your code, right? That's why you want to do unit testing, get rid of the bugs as many as possible, so that you are not the guy blocking everybody else. If you are blocking everybody else, for once they give you a pass, for the second time you're probably out. All right, so that's our introduction for the structure of the class. So I'm going to go to our first chapter, which essentially is the overview about why we are doing this. But I hope you already know why you're doing this. Otherwise, what's the fun of software engineering? So essentially, software engineering is not something new. Okay, software engineering is definitely not new. Software engineering has been around for roughly 70 years. Okay, so creating software programs to drive your machine essentially is programming and software engineering. So essentially, the problem is, so we are still trying to solve a problem that people identify like 70 years ago, 60 years ago. Most product, so all your software engineering product actually failed. This is still true in industry. When you see project cancellation and people got laid off and everything, yeah, a product failed. Either canceled, over budget, late, and no feature missing. It's very common. Actually, so I think we are keeping about 35% around that range of successful rate. You may say, oh, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to do software product? You may, so essentially, you can see that this is not an easy business. I mean, there are a lot of disputes in our industry as well. I mean, some of you may still remember the Cover Oregon fiasco we had. The state lost millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to Oracle, and we basically recovered nothing from them, right? So essentially, there are a lot of disputes because the project is not finished right. Well, so our agenda in software engineering is actually finish project right, but this is not an easy job.
How reliable is that 35% figure? I mean, that pie chart was done completely wrong, so I'm not sure I trust the people getting the information.
Right. So this is a kind of information you will never get it 100% reliably, because the people are not going to disclose this information. For instance, Microsoft is not going to give you exactly how many projects failed, and their criteria for failing the project is very different from yours. So pretty much, I think if you look at anecdotally, people tend to think 1/3 of your project will survive. The other 2/3 will go into some kind of disarray. so essentially here, we still have facing this problem. We basically cannot deliver a product on time and with all the correct features. So we're always late. We cannot keep the deadline. That's why it's actually important for you guys to be able to stick to the deadline, know how to deal with things when you're approaching the deadline. And also, most of the time, our software system quality is lacking. Just look at how many security breaches we had in the last 5 years. I mean, last year the biggest one probably is Facebook. I mean, I think 2 weeks ago they were saying that Facebook basically keep all your password in plain text for many years, right? Who knows who had them and what they are doing with them, right? So essentially, you can see that you would think that Facebook would be the best engineering organization we had on the earth, but we still have pretty big problems. So also, in software engineering, you have to look at how you are actually going to do something quick, and also with high quality. These are very hard to come by. And also, software engineering is very expensive. Okay, very expensive. For instance, I can give you an example. When you guys graduate from PSU with your bachelor degree, I can't even afford to hire you guys into my research project because you guys are too expensive, way too expensive. Okay, average software engineer in Portland each year, the entry-level software engineer will cost a company $150K. With your salary, benefit, and everything else. Okay? Entry-level software engineer hired by the company around here